if you have a strong SEO fundamental, you can absolutely have a chance for the ChatGPT ranking citation and from all LLMs because the system is.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Jolly SEO's TLDR. I am really excited this week. Metehan Yeşilyurt, the Chief Growth Officer of AEO Vision, is here to explain Reciprocal Rank Fusion, and we're going to dive in just a moment. But first, Metehan, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, thanks for the invite and thanks for having me today. I'm super excited to tell my finding, my experiment.
I'm excited because you wrote this incredibly interesting paper. I think it was in July of
Yes,
2025.
around. Yeah.
A lot of people took notice of this. You don't know me, but I'm actually not very technical. And I really appreciated how your paper made it easy for me to understand the math behind reciprocal rank fusion. So before we dive into that, though, really quick, that was the middle of 2025. Now we're getting to the end of 2025.
Yeah.
Does this concept of RRF still apply going into 2026?
Yes, after this finding, actually, it's not a new thing for the academic side because the Rank Fusion first academic paper actually published in 2009. So, and we know Google is also developing its own search infrastructure, and it actually about developing algorithm itself in real time. So we already similar with the mathematical formulation in the search side. So and we know OpenAI has an agreement with Microsoft Bing. So when I first discovered this, actually it started with checking console logs on my Chrome browser or Mozilla Opera. When I see those code line, I would like to dive into for more information. Then realize that actually ChatGPT is also using very similar handout approach in their web search product. So when I check the old sources in the backend, I mean, you can just ask a question like, what are the best trending sneakers in 25 to ChatGPT? There were more sources in the request, but we only see actually partial citations. I mean, there were something like 4 sources, but I can only see 10 citations in the final response. So there is a certain reducing mechanism for their web search structure. So when I start to work hard on this, then I realized there's a rank fusion, and as I mentioned, it's not a new thing for the search market. But then want to publish a very paper academic friendly version of STIP to tell everyone. Then we'd like to hear more insights and feedback from our lovely search industry. And it went slightly viral. Of course, I'm happy with that. And now we are here. And after Rank Fusion, of course, there were many updates on the Google AI mods and AI overviews. And of course, on the ChatGPT, OpenAI, and Gemini part, because when we ask long long form question to LLM, they are splitting that long form prompt into sub question, search and fetch result, each of them, then combine in a data pool, let's say a data pool, then there's a reducing mechanism, and we see the final citation with the actual response. So it's quite complicated for me still, but I can see many patterns are applied by Rank Fusion RLF still today.
That's awesome. Thank you for that overview and kind of validating the importance. And like you said, it did go viral, and it was a really fascinating thing to consider. You know, a lot of us, 2025 certainly, but going into 2026, more of us SEOs than ever are going to be thinking about answer engine optimization. I'm curious with AEO Vision. Obviously, your goal is to help users understand their ranking in these AI search engines. Uh, but you know, maybe not all of us have the ability to do what you just described was your process to identify that rank
Yes.
fusion is at play here. So let's say we are monitoring how we are doing in these AI search engines. We can see where we are doing well, where competitors are destroying us. Once we have this information, where do we even start as we begin to try to optimize?
Yeah. First, I'm not a typical GEO guy. I mean, I'm not criticizing anyone in our search industry because I respect everybody, every opinion, because the landscape is changing very rapidly. So we need to see what's happening in the industry. Of course, on the also the customer side, because I started to work on ChatGPT for an optimization part. I guess end of 24 heavily wanted to invest because also trying to improve my skill and I realized that people or companies just start come up with questions like how can I show up my brand in ChatGPT. And right now we also have Perplexity, Copilot, Cloudy, and of course Gemini. But we also know the biggest market share belongs to ChatGPT OpenAI right now. And XAI is coming, etc. But when people, companies, brands came up question like this, so there's a new pattern over there. And I still believe in SEO because I have a very technical SEO background over a decade. And it like, yes, there is an opportunity and I love working with algorithms. So I believe in the United States, part of VCs, some companies just want to jump in this hype and they want to call something new. But we also knew that there was a shifting model in early 2010. And we named it mobile SEO, but right now we are not calling it mobile SEO right now. Or we had some predictions about voice search late 2010s, and we were predicting years like 2025, almost 50% of the search queries will come from voice search. So the landscape is changing very rapidly, and of course, AI is really different because you can, if you can use in an effective way, you can increase your outputs outcome. So you can actually create your better stack. And I believe you need to start with a site audit. I wanted to explain all of these because I believe if you have a strong SEO fundamental, you can absolutely have a chance for the ChatGPT ranking citation and from all LLMs, because the system is very similar at the moment. And of course, the retrieval part is different than the traditional Google search. And we know Google also is releasing their own AI search product. And everyone is basically working on how can we monetize this with ads. So what I'm trying to tell, these are very similar with early 2010. So the thing is, I always start with a site audit because LLMs are also using user agent, and those both user agent at your website, they need to parse your layouts, they need to read your content. Right now, they are not good on the image, multimedia part, like Google, but you need to provide them a very clear semantic structure because they are heavily text-based retrieval tools at the moment, especially on the search.
Metehan, we didn't plan to cover this, but I have a shotgun question here for you. Do you consider making content just for AI crawlers? I know that some SEOs are considering this, and some SEOs are saying, no, we stick human first and we make sure it's structured so that AI crawlers can do their job. Where do you sit in this discussion?
First, respect every idea because I'm still trying to learn more and hear more from our industry to develop my own ideas. But this is very clear. When you only create content based on the AI system, uh, probably you will need many patterns like user engagement, etc. Because LLMs are using a temperature settings. It allows to create more creative content on their backend side. And ChatGPT for all API model uh, have a temperature setting, but GPT-5 and 5.1 just doesn't have this system. So when you only create with API in a, let's say, bulk mode, you can create thousands of content. But I believe if you only use basic prompts, probably you won't drive traffic, thousands of millions of traffic from LLMs or Google. And the second thing is LLMs are both improving their data system, contact moderation. So you need to be careful, and if you only follow same pattern, just like early versions of Google search algorithm, probably you will get penalized in the future. I don't know, maybe 2 years later, you can still generate revenue, maybe 6 months later. And we also know that, I guess it was from PromptWatch finding ChatGPT, OpenAI, right now using an entity system. It also, I guess, in the profound finding, those are just great study. So they're also improving their system. But the third thing is LLMs are not targeting the search structure. They're trying to create something new. But Google expertise is on the search part, because search part is also generating the most revenue for Google.
So you talked about LLMs are creating something new. Uh, the, Let me just briefly try to say my understanding of reciprocal rank fusion, and then please correct me so I can get this right for the audience's sake and for my own. Uh, but what I saw as a takeaway from this is, as SEOs, we're no longer aiming just for spot number one. We need to
Yes,
consider that we want to be in the top 10, maybe even lower down, but in the top 10 as many as we can. And there's weighting to this.
yeah,
So can you help me understand how this applies to AEO? How much of reciprocal rank fusion we we want to adopt? As you said, it's been around for over 15 years, this idea of rank fusion, but how much we need to adapt or adopt our SEO best
yes,
practices with this new paradigm that it's not just number one. We all know what's been happening even
yes,
in Google
yes,
search,
yes.
but
The AI stuff, it was new. We also saw it in the US 2023 search generative experience, SGE. Uh, what I saw and experienced is the traffic were already such a big line for almost everywhere. Of course, if you are in econ business or let's say healthcare business, home click need to be made by the users. Like if you are going to purchase something, but for the all query, we are already in a period traffic and it already running month by month. So this isn't new. For this period, I believe brand visibility is the most important metrics. I mean, if you are visible on AI overviews, AI mods, and also in LLM, it will count a positive point for your brand. In the past, you need to check the traffic, but right now we are checking for visibility. I need that's the actual diction for this period. And the final thing is earned media and old media are very important because only owning your brand domain isn't enough. For the rank fusion, for the visibility, you need to be more visible on and other platforms. I mean, let your audience list.
yeah, there's the classic marketing saying, which is a customer needs to see your brand 7 times before they make a purchase.
Yes,
I
yes,
found it very fascinating that part of 2025 has been SEOs realizing we are still marketers, even though there was some resistance to this idea in SEO prior to
yeah,
this. I I really happen to agree with you. Of course, you are speaking our language because we do earned link building only. We don't do paid links, so we focus a lot on brand as a result, getting clients brands in the media. Which, to be honest, until this year, we were nervous. Are we still going to be useful in the future? There was some talk in SEO about links. Are they still valuable or not? It turns out getting your brand out there in a lot of different places is very useful in this next generation. But I want to put you in a little bit of a hot seat here, Medahan. I'm going to ask you a little dangerous question. The
okay,
algorithms are
okay.
changing all the time, but can you make one prediction for us? As I just admitted, I couldn't have predicted that brand citations would be
Mm.
so useful right now. But going into 2026, can you make a prediction on where the OpenAI ranking algorithm is heading?
I believe they're really connected with Bing. I believe they will start investing their own search infrastructure. And when you look for or search for some mathematical formulations on the relevant document comparison or document finding site, I mean for the semantic search, you can only find some actually you can find 10 to 100 patents at the time. So invest in yourself. I mean, this is for everyone who watching our podcast right now, listening our podcast. My prediction is first, black hats can be the one of the hottest topics in the next year because LLM have many biases at the moment, like research C. And the second is, I believe, of course, with the Atlas browsers, the agentic browsers, the agentic hype can be bigger than right now. So just let's see how it goes. Because when the agentic optimization arrive, maybe people want to name it something very different, acronym. Uh, so I don't know, but we'll see. When the agentic optimization arrive, we see and we will try to optimize any web page or any product page only for LLM, only for the AIs. That will be also a huge difference. But let's see.
Yeah, I think it's a great prediction. Going back to my question I asked you, right now, maybe no one is really building just for bots, right? But
Yeah.
the agents, they are coming. They're slowly coming. I was just at an event in Chiang Mai last week, and only two of us out of about 100 people said we had agents working inside of our business. Certainly, there are people more on the cutting edge and doing things, but as you said, we haven't even scratched the surface yet in terms of optimizing for agents because they're not yet really out there operating. I like
Yeah.
that
And,
prediction a lot. Medahan, I loved reading your paper. I saw that it went viral. I tried to ask my best questions today, but why I really wanted you here is actually to see what you can teach us. Before we wrap up, is there something I didn't ask you about that you'd like to share with the audience that you're wondering, like why are we closing out? I didn't yet get to share this.
um, yes, I'm currently working on re-ranking systems because I can I can tell you I mentioned these topics in some of my posts, but not very clearly. Please first, please use academic research paper websites often. Just type LLM, ChatGPT, use your own keywords. It has a lot. Those platforms are my first and favorite platforms for new findings. And I believe we need to read more, especially on the front part, because LLMs have many unsolved problems on the retrieval parts. They are using retrieval augmented generation, which is actually different from Google, the traditional search. I believe Google has the best system ever because it's their job and they acquired DeepMind over a decade ago. So they are good at it. And second is re-ranking layer. If you use text that with a visible text on your page, it helps a lot. Please just update your more than 6 months old content. It helps a lot for the driving more traffic and citation from LLMs. I'm telling this because we in ChatGPT's re-ranking system favors recent contents. That obvious. I also publish post about this. But re-ranking system of ChatGPT is very dynamic and has many parameters inside. So I'm trying to work on it. But what I realized and didn't share before is this information already validated in our search industry, but it also ties with ChatGPT's own re-ranking system. When you use TLDR section in your beginning of content, it helps a lot for the LLM citations and traffic, because right now LLMs have lost in the middle problem. Their attention window for crawling any website is the beginning part and the end part. They're just getting lost in the middle section, and they're trying to use and hallucinate sometimes on the content. So using bulleted lead with basic HTML table in the middle part helps a lot. Just apply this and see the difference.
Metehan, that was amazing. You packed in as many tips as you could in 25 minutes. So I really appreciate you coming on. I know people can look at aeovision.ai. Is there anywhere
Yeah.
else you would love people to come and follow you and ask some questions?
Yeah. Anytime on LinkedIn, on app, and just PB.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Teşekkür ederim. Really appreciate it, Metehan.
Ben de teşekkür ederim. Çok sağ ol. Thank you.